You see, healing has three distinct layers, and most of us only ever focus on the first one. That first layer is survival. It's when you're trying to make it through the day without falling apart. You're running on adrenaline and distraction and faith. And that's okay because survival is sacred work, so don't minimize it. Hi, my friend, and welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and with God's help, I've overcome some of the toughest trials in life that I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself struggling to move beyond a heartbreak or a hardship, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest trials. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those hardships. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. If you've ever gone through something painful, like a heartbreak or a betrayal, or some kind of disappointment that actually shook your entire sense of direction, you know all too well the silence that often comes after. It's that moment when everyone else has moved on with their lives, but your spirit is still catching up to what happened to you. You've cried, you've prayed, you've journaled, you've talked it out over and over again. And now it's quiet. And it feels often like nothing's happening. But friend, I promise you something is happening. Healing just has its own pace. And most of the time, that pace does not move at the speed of your expectations. When I'm coaching women, this is the part that we talk about most. And it's not always the heartbreak itself, but the hangover that comes afterward, the emptiness that follows, the waiting that ensues, and the temptation to fill that quiet with all kinds of distractions because you think that stillness means that you are stuck. But that quiet space isn't a pause in your progress. That quiet space is your progress. It's where God starts to rewire what broke inside of you. It's where He repairs your trust in Him and your trust in yourself. And that's what I want to unpack today in this episode. What it means to do the quiet work of healing, the unseen, unglamorous, deeply sacred work that transforms you from within. There was a time when I had to sit in my own silence and sit with my own poor decisions. It was a time when I couldn't pray in a pretty way because all of those emotions just came up to the surface. And it was ugly. I couldn't fake strength. And at times, I couldn't even explain what it was that I was actually feeling. All I could do was rest, lay in bed and eat snacks, binge watch TV, and really just escape the world. And it was in that rest that I started to realize maybe this is what healing actually looks like. You see, healing has three distinct layers, and most of us only ever focus on the first one. That first layer is survival. It's when you're trying to make it through the day without falling apart. You're running on adrenaline and distraction and faith. And that's okay because survival is sacred work, so don't minimize it. Now, the second layer is awareness. And this is when the fog starts to lift. You begin to understand and break down what actually happened, what it cost you, and how it shaped you. But here's the challenge in this second layer. Awareness hurts. It hurts like none other because it makes you revisit pain that you thought you'd already put to bed. And that's why so many people just stop there. because they confuse that discomfort with danger. And then comes the deepest layer, surrender. And this is where you stop fighting the process and you start trusting it. It's when you stop trying to fix what happened and instead let God redeem it. And that, my friend, is the quiet work, the invisible layer that no one else can see, but heaven applauds. Isaiah 30:15 says this, "Only in returning to me and waiting for me will you be saved. In quietness and confidence is your strength." That verse isn't about doing less. That verse is about relying less on you and relying more on Him. It's about shifting from, "I've got to figure this out, God," to a point where you're saying, "I'm going to rest and let you work for me, God." When I coach women through this stage, we often talk about how uncomfortable silence can be. Because silence makes you sit with the truth, the ugly truth, the painful truth. It makes you listen to the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding and running from. And when you do that, that's where growth begins. It doesn't begin when you're busy and distracted, but it begins when you are brave enough to finally stand still. Quiet healing is also where you learn emotional stewardship. And what does that mean? Emotional stewardship means taking care of your heart like it's something valuable, not something that's disposable. You don't just toss your emotions into the hands of anybody who will listen. You handle them gently, like something sacred, which they are. You check your self-talk, in particular, the negative self-talk. And you start saying, "I'm not behind. I'm right where I need to be, and I am heading to where I need to go." In that stage, you also practice self-compassion, and not the kind that excuses unhealthy behavior, friend, but the kind that gives yourself grace for being human. And it sounds like this: "I didn't know then what I know now. And that's okay, because I'm learning and I'm growing." And finally, that next stage, you practice stillness. Stillness doesn't mean that nothing's happening. It means that everything that matters is happening underneath the surface that you and others can see. Think of it kind of like soil. When you plant a seed, you can't see the roots growing, but they're taking hold, getting stronger and stronger. The roots grow downward before the plant or the flower even grows up above the soil. And my friend, that is you right now. So if you take anything away from this, let it be that healing is not about how fast you move. It's about how faithfully you give yourself permission to rest. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." You see, stillness isn't passive, friend. It's an act of faith. And it's hard. Stillness says, "God, even when I don't see change, I still trust that you are working on my behalf." And here's the truth. Healing, that's God's territory. I mean, you participate in it, but you don't control it. Your job is obedience and openness and willingness and acceptance. The outcome is God's job. So why is this so hard, and why does it hurt so much? It hurts because silence is uncomfortable. And silence is uncomfortable because it removes the distractions that often surround us and keep us feeling safe. It forces us to sit and listen to our own heartbeat again. And sometimes that rhythm feels foreign. And it feels foreign because we've been living in survival mode so long that peace actually feels unfamiliar and scary. But the silence isn't to punish you, friend. The silence protects you. It's giving your soul space to relearn what safety really feels like. So here's your reflection for the week. Pull out your journal and write about it. What part of my own healing am I trying to rush? And what might just happen if I gave it permission to unfold quietly at God's pace? Don't force your answers. Sit in quiet as long as you need to. God will meet you in that quiet, and He will help you emerge with the right answers. So, my friend, if this episode met you while you are in that silent stretch, I want you to know this. The quiet work counts, because that's where your roots grow deep, and that is where your strength takes shape. And this is also the space I help women walk through in coaching, rebuilding their self-trust, creating rhythms of rest, and learning to partner with God's pace instead of fighting it. And if that's where you are, know that you are right on time. Healing is happening, even here. And before we wrap up, I want to give you a little heads up about something that I'm very excited about. I've been working on this behind the scenes, and it's finally ready to go. It's a resource titled 26 Ruthlessly Intentional Tactics to Bounce Back in 2026. It is full of practical truths and faith-filled strategies to help you keep rebuilding after heartbreak, or after loss, or after just plain life. I haven't released the date yet, but it will be available really soon. So if you're on my mailing list, know that you will be the first to get notified when it's available, and you'll have access to the first copies. So make sure, if you haven't already, that you subscribe, either in the show notes below this episode, or head to my website at bouncebackblackwoman.com, and that way you won't miss it. I'm so excited to deliver this to you because it will help your bounce back more than you could ever imagine. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.